Even though Spider-Man is regarded as a nice neighborhood hero, over the years he has kept some rather dark secrets. Most people agree that Spider-Man is one of Marvel's more endearing superheroes. His constant sense of duty consumes him, and he usually tries to keep everyone around him safe. His true identity has so been kept a closely guarded secret for many years. Yet, Spider-Man's past has not been without its dark times. He has occasionally engaged in heinous behavior, gone through incredibly horrific experiences, or seen things that he has chosen to remain silent about. Spider-Man has witnessed some horrific things, some of which have been kept a secret for years, much like every other Marvel superhero.
Number 10.
Amazing Spider-Man Vol. 1, Vega 527 by J. Michael Straczynski, Mike Deodato Jr., Joe Pimentel, Matt Milla, and Corey Petit. The Other is a horrifying entity that exists within the Spider-Verse. It is a gigantic spider that can turn people into human-spider hybrids with horrific appearances and incredible power. It also has power over life and death. While it is mostly known for connecting with Caney Parker, it once resurrected the original Spider-Man. After Peter was killed by Morlun, the Other hid his body in a cocoon, where he would later be resurrected. This is a truly dark secret that many of Spider-Man's loved ones don't even know about. This was a particularly painful moment that proved even Spider-Man could fail.
Number 9.
Spider-Man Vol. 4, Vega 7 by Dan Slott, Mark Bagley, John Dell, Andrew Hennessy, Edgar Delgado, and Joe Caramagna. While it was widely believed that Spider-Man generally works alone, the truth is that he had a sidekick all along. Spider-Boy, a little boy genetically merged with a spider, spent years at the web-slinger's side. It was a shocking reveal that took Peter by surprise as much as the rest of the world. The truth is that Spider-Man forgot about his sidekick when Spider-Boy was wiped from existence. His return is a dark secret, because even Spider-Man is hesitant to admit that he forgot about a boy who was so important to him. He couldn't even remember him after his return, which has been a true tragedy for the young hero.
Number 8.
Amazing Fantasy Number 15 by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Stan Goldberg, and Artie Simek. With great power comes great responsibility is more than just an iconic Spider-Man quote. It represents his memory of Uncle Ben, who was killed by a criminal that Peter chose not to stop. This was the event that transformed Peter Parker into a hero, but it is also one of his darkest secrets. His failure to protect Ben is the reason that Spider-Man now protects the world, but it still torments him. Ben's death is a true tragedy, and Peter has always blamed himself for keeping the truth secret from Aunt May and his other loved ones, suffering silently through his pain and grief.
Number 7.
Web of Spider-Man 117 by Terry Kavanagh, Stephen Butler, Randy Emberlin, Kevin Tinsley, and Steve Dutro. Spider-Man has an absurd amount of clones. Caney and Ben Reilly are the most prominent, but there are numerous spider clones running through the Marvel multiverse. While many are very similar to Peter Parker, others are monstrous creatures like Spider-Side and Webman. Peter regards his friendly clones as brothers, but he rarely reveals their true nature out of a desire to protect his secret identity. The reality is that any of his clones can cause chaos at any point, as Ben proved when he became the villainous Chasm.
Number 6.
Superior Spider-Man Vol. 1 by Dan Slott, Ryan Stegman, Edgar Delgado, and Chris Eliopoulos. Something that Spider-Man keeps close to his chest is that many of his actions were actually taken by Dr. Octopus. The Superior Spider-Man run featured Otto Octavius in Spider-Man's skin, as he tried to prove that he could be a better Spider-Man than Peter Parker. Dr. Octopus had many accomplishments as Spider-Man, and this remains one of the hero's darkest secrets. He stole Peter's life and made other heroes, including the younger Nova, completely displeased Peter. The friendly neighborhood energy was destroyed, and it took Parker years to recover.
Number 5.
Since Amazing Fantasy Doctor at 15 by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Stan Goldberg, and Artie Simek. The darkest secret that Spider-Man has is one that could completely ruin his life. If Peter's secret identity is ever revealed, every member of his family would be at risk. The last time it was temporarily made public, Peter's Aunt May was shot. The truth of Spider-Man's secret identity is a constant fear Peter faces that has the potential to completely ruin his life. While leading a double life as a hero has put many of his personal relationships in jeopardy, revealing this secret would endanger Peter and everything he has ever cared about.
Number 4.
Amazing Spider-Man Vol. 1, 121 by Jerry Conway, Gil Kane, John Romita Sr., Tony Mortellaro, Dave Hunt, and Artie Simek. The death of Gwen Stacy has tormented Spider-Man for years, but he never lets those around him know that it was secretly his fault. Green Goblin may have thrown Gwen off of a bridge, but it was Peter who provided the killing blow, as it was his webbing that actually snapped her neck. It has widely been established within the Marvel Universe that the Green Goblin was solely responsible for the death. This has left Spider-Man tormented by the knowledge that the love of his life died because of his actions.
Number 3.
Amazing Spider-Man Vol. 1, Bugra 544 by J. Michael Straczynski, Joe Quesada, Danny Miki, Richard Isanove, and Chris Eliopoulos. There is nothing more absurd than a man exchanging his marriage for the life of his aunt. But that is exactly what Spider-Man did. He and Mary Jane Watson agreed to trade their marriage to Mephisto for Aunt May's sake. It meant that the relationship was over, but Aunt May returned to life. This was a tragic moment that proved just how much MJ and Peter loved both each other and Aunt May. The moment was still dark, and it remains one of the couple's darkest secrets. Peter's marriage to MJ is now largely forgotten, and his deal with the devil remains a stark tragedy.
Number 2.
Amazing Spider-Man Vol. 1, Bugra 542 by J. Michael Straczynski, Ron Garney, Bill Reinhold, Matt Milla, and Corey Petit. After Kingpin arranged for Peter Parker's family to be murdered, it was not Spider-Man who arrived in prison to face him. Instead, it was an unmasked and furious Peter who proceeded to give the criminal the beating of a lifetime. They fought in front of the entire prison block, with Parker completely humiliating his opponent. Peter didn't hold back at all during this fight, and his actions in that prison have become a dark secret. It proved just how dangerous Spider-Man can be if he sets aside his morals and stops holding back. The iconic hero outclasses nearly every enemy he faces, and this proves just how deadly Spider-Man can be when he decides to ditch the friendly persona.
Number 1.
Spider-Man vs. Wolverine No. 1 by Jim Owsley, Mark Bright, Al Williamson, Petra Scotisi, and Bill Oakley. Wolverine has had some questionable allies over the years. One of them included Charlemagne, a KGB agent working to escape the agency. She could have gone on to escape them, but was, unfortunately, the victim of a strike by Spider-Man, who killed her. Charlemagne's death devastated Spider-Man, as he mistakenly thought she was Wolverine. Unfortunately, she surprised the web-slinger, and the result was fatal. Wolverine tried to comfort Spider-Man, but it has remained one of his darkest secrets.